the feeling of, oh my God, because you said it on the nose. Every morning I do a sauna in the morning and I sit still for 30 minutes. Uh, Most people are doing saunas and meditation to not feel, and it's I wouldn't really say demons, or I just say it's the body's like deepest parts trying to get us to pay attention to something, to where literally I feel, see, experience, taste, visualize the most during that time. And I laughed and giggled because you said it. It's, I would say 99.9999999 repeat is doing that routine. What I would say, even doing what you would do, to not see those things, feel those things, taste those things, hear those things. They're doing it to completely check out the other way and to try to mitigate and hide and numb and nerf and do all this stuff. No, you're going in to build a resilience for what the fuck is coming. I'm going in to see more, deeper, and then understand what the fuck do I need to do for what's coming, because it is going to be lonely. We are going to feel more lost. It is going to be scary. It is going to take massive work and responsibility. Even just being responsible takes strength. And we're getting into the physical, mental, emotional strength, why that
Mhm.
has to be a massive component. Um, but those were just points I wanted to bring back forward because they're
Like I can intellectually understand it, but that's not the same as actually knowing and feeling and experiencing it.
right.
So now when I'm home and he said it, I'm like, holy shit. He said, yeah, I don't feel really at home here or there. Like I'm fine like both ways because I'm both now. And I'm like, holy shit. Because that was so hard for me for almost 26 years. Be like, no, I am Serbian and I don't want to be American because Americans are morons and we are not. We are morons also. Everybody's a moron nowadays.
True story.
Uh, and I'm like, holy shit. And then I told my sister and her husband, I said, guys, you know what I came to realization? And I couldn't like face it and look. They said, well, I'm also American now. And both of them just like jumped, like, yeah, you don't even see it. So I'm saying it's easier for outside people. You're such an, they're like jumping, you're such an American. I'm like, I know, calm down. But you can tell me until you're blue in your face. But unless I actually have the capacity to
Right.
accept and want to and change and feel it, it's not going to matter. So that was huge. So that was another obstacle that from my mind is removed. It doesn't really matter for me. I am here now for a specific purpose. I don't know for how long. I don't have any plan.
Because what we're talking about is not fixing somebody else or protecting somebody else. No, 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 no. You guys are the only ones here in this class right now. You guys are the only ones doing the workshop. You're the only ones who invested the time and the energy and the money and everything going in. So now you were just very kindly, what do you guys have? So being honest with you. And that is not being done. Nobody is saying anything. And I said this in the relationship Zoom, and we'll bring it back. Everyone is just not liking the actions they're taking on their feelings based on their beliefs. And then they have feelings after the actions, and they notice triggers and they recognize triggers all over the place, but they're just medicating their triggers. And nobody is being themselves. Nobody. And it speaks to your saying programs. Like, absolutely. Like, they're just literally, as long as there's no confrontation, as long as nobody sitting at the fucking dinner table is honest, we can have a happy Thanksgiving. Or we can have a nice dinner. Or this food, and their bodies aren't digesting it. Everyone's like, something's wrong with my gut. It has nothing to do with your fucking gut. Your body is specifically telling you you only have the energy capacity to eat grapes for the next fucking year and a half. And you could speed that up and change some things, but your nutrition is perfect, even when you're pissing out your ass and you're consuming food. It's not wrong. You can only handle water.
Really are just being in a misery the whole time and abusing and in these self-destructive ways and always blaming, always somebody else, always victim. Nothing is ever good. I always want to die. It's just like completely miserable. And the bodies are, to your point, the bodies are still fucking holding with all this shit, with all this medicine, with all these interventions. The bodies
Sure.
are still holding till like 75, 80. So I was like, that's actually great news
Right.
because imagine Imagine if we use that energy
Right.
for something better and more positive. Where the fuck would we go? But that's the problem, because nobody will tell you this from all the people out there, because it's so hard. Because if it was so easy, all this legion of meditation masters or monks, and all these monks are full of shit. I mean, I like to listen to them and stuff. Sometimes they'll have good points, but they still live fucking by themselves in a monastery. They're not surrounded by people and exposed to this. So they're like, no, you're just gonna calm and stuff. Yeah, sure, but you don't live in that environment. But that's the price.
It's not that these feelings are bad. No, I'm taking them in because they're perfect. I just would like to not repeat them. I would like to not feel them again. I'd like to learn from why they're here so then I could go to the next thing. Um, and then I was finally like, okay, this is enough. I've sat for 3 or 4 days. I've let this stuff in. I sat idle, which is actually steps forward. But I was like, enough. I need to take some action. What do I do? I don't know. I was already with myself in silence. I was already in solitude. I've already done stuff. I've already moved a little bit. Like, I'm just going to change my locale. I was sipping coffee right outside my place. I'm just going to change where I was at. Normally, I walk to the beach every fucking morning, but the last 3 months I hadn't, and I'd already told you this story. So I just changed my location. I took action to change my location. Why'd you do that? I don't know. It was just action. And again, you don't wait to be motivated to take action. You just do it. And then you see what is presented to you. If we waited to be motivated by some fucking podcast or some song or some whatever, we'd never do anything. So it's like, okay, or it'd be like fabricated like reasoning. So no, I'm taking action because I've done this part here. I don't know. I'm going to take steps forward and I'm going to notice stuff along the way because as I walk, the scenery is going to change. I'm going to change. The people exposure is going to change. And I got to the beach and the first fucking
That in itself will change it. But I don't know. I can't answer at that time, because I know that mine, or maybe it is changed. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Maybe I look at it. See, now it is triggering me. Maybe I'm not looking at it correctly. Maybe the change just means different. It doesn't mean that it's completely. That's the thing. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden maybe this changed, because I was still able to drive completely normal and look at my body raging. So that's already, yes, it is already changed to different. So the answer is yes. But all right, but just it's not like, see, because I am very analytical and logical, I
I
would want it
know.
to be like all of a sudden I'm like,
I
I'm
know.
meditating body, which is bullshit, because they're all lying. They're all
Guys, I
fucking
hope you
lying.
just realized what just happened. We just saw him walk himself through something
Yeah, in
really
real time.
and in real time. And you got to this point, like, holy shit. And that's literally what your inner monologue would have been. We just got to see it live. I want to add once you're done. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but that's goes to the point when we spoke
Huge.
before. I said
Yeah.
that this will be, regardless how many people participate and watch.
And then you hit another thing where guys listening, I can't share this enough. I just think it's like a secret weapon that I have specifically. Vladi is like doing more of now, talking things. I fucking tell everybody everything. Like, I think it's in the unless I'm passing them. But now, especially like TJ, if it's neighbors and I have time, meaning I'm not just like getting something and I got to run inside. Hey,
Yeah,
how you doing today? Little slow actually. Morning got thrown on. I mean, I will fucking share fucking all of it right there. And then they're wanting to be open too. And they're like, oh, really? And they'll ask a follow-up question because everybody wants this. Everybody wants this trueness. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I'm running into some job shifts changing and an accounting shift and this rig and some other thing. And then I'll just share. And they're like, oh, and then they give their perspective. I feel better because I've never said it that way before. And you even said it like words coming out create vibrations that are way different than
yeah,
thoughts just by itself, right? So there's like a physical action through this whole thing. And
yeah.
then that is a medicinal therapeutic input that is essential. It's called social connection, right? And it's all around us. We end up, how many cats can you get before you start having an ability? Now it's this combination. That's a fucking human being that nobody's talking about. And don't tell me this 5D ascension bullshit. That is something that's like nobody's fucking, and everybody, if they want to say like, oh, these past generations, quit fucking comparing yourself to these past generations. If they were amazing, they would fucking stay here. Something didn't work. So clearly there's some that hasn't been written yet. Don't give me Egyptians. I don't fucking want to hear about Egyptians because if they were so amazing, where the fuck are they? Like, don't tell me this stuff. There's a version of human that nobody's ever seen. And in my opinion, it is from what we're talking about, from these elements here, because nobody is touching this. Nobody is touching this to a level, and really just a level of honesty and genuine authenticity. That's another word that's getting kind of drowned out and what is it? Diluted. Like what's authenticity? Authenticity is just somebody else's version of their life. It's just like, how authentic is that? And again, there's not a perfect authenticity. It's just, stop the word perfect. It's just you
Yeah.
real, you done. And if it's all coming from a place and it all makes sense and it's